Don't forget, you're watching WTWN, Channel 19.
Live from the studios of Channel 19, this is Healthy Living, a call-in show with advice on improving your well-being.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our show, Healthy Living. I am your host, Daisy Glace, and each and every week at about this time, we have some of the best health professionals right here on the show, and they're here for you live. And to get any answers to any of your questions, all you have to do is call in. Our number here is 532-6706. This evening, we have something a little different for you. It is along the lines of self-defense or the martial arts. We have our guest with us, Master Jurgen Schmidt, who is an instructor of combat Hapkido. You've heard Hapkido, Taekwondo, Tai Chi, things like that. Well, Jurgen is an instructor of combat Hapkido, and he's here to tell us all about this wonderful form of martial art. Let's welcome Jurgen. Jurgen, thanks for coming by. Tell us, Jurgen, about Hapkido. I don't know, combat Hapkido or whatever, if there's a difference. I've heard about it, but can you tell us, enlighten us?
Hapkido is a martial arts style. Combat Hapkido is a variation of that style. What we did is we put together the best techniques for self-defense and sort of left out some of the forms and some of the other things that we didn't feel were relevant to self-defense. We call combat Hapkido the science of self-defense because that's all it focuses on.
Who created combat Hapkido?
Grandmaster John Pellegrini is the founder of the combat Hapkido style of self-defense. Again, it's derived from the Hapkido system. The way we teach it and the way we practice it, we just eliminated some of the things that we didn't feel were necessary for self-defense. For example, like high kicks. Out in the street, in a real-life situation, you don't want to try and kick somebody in the head. It's not practical and it's not effective. All of our kicks are below the waist. Focus, on the areas below the waist. It's a lot more practical. Again, when you have people like senior citizens or the disabled women and things like that, they're not going to be able to kick above the waist anyway. So we felt it wasn't necessary to include it in our particular variation of the Hapkido martial arts style.
So much flexibility isn't really
very flexible.
It is.
Very flexible. All the techniques can be combined and modified to suit different situations. For example, in my case, I'm disabled, and the combat Hapkido system is perfect because it doesn't rely solely on kicks and things like that in order to work. In this case, all of it is upper body, and we call it the science of self-defense because all the techniques are based on scientific application of self-defense techniques derived from, the Hapkido martial arts style.
Is much strength needed?
No, not at all. I mean, look at me. I'm not, a particularly big guy. Yet some of these techniques are so devastating that we don't even teach them to children because they can get hurt.
Oh, really? So you don't teach the child because who can get hurt? The child could hurt someone, or you could hurt the child?
The child could hurt someone else. Yes, we don't like to bring in children under 12 years of 12 years of age because it does require a little bit of maturity and responsibility. Again, some of these techniques are very devastating. And we teach from law enforcement personnel all the way down to women and, senior citizens.
How old are a senior citizen?
Up to 60, 70,
yeah,
and beyond. Yeah.
Whatever their physical capability will allow.
The style, the system is not based on a person's physical strength, size, or particular abilities. Again, you can be 75 years old and still do it with no problem.
Well, Jurgen, I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to visualize what exactly you're talking about, and I've got an idea. But let's see some video, which you're in it, of course, and you're the star of this. If you could just tell us a little bit about what. Let's roll it.
Okay, this is a technique from a wrist grab. And this one in particular, we call it the same side wrist grab. When someone attacks you and they grab you by the wrist, whether you're standing, sitting, or wherever you happen to be. What you basically want to do is redirect the person's energy, redirect their movement, and use their own body weight and their own energy against them. That's what the basis of the techniques are. It's not a matter of fighting force against force, because obviously the weaker person is going to lose. It's a matter of applying the other person's energy and their momentum against them in order to put them into a submission or what we call a joint lock.
Now what, oh.
This is from a shoulder grab, for example. See, the human body is anatomically meant to bend and move only certain ways. When you have joints such as the fingers, the wrists, the elbows, shoulders, knees, they're not going to bend in a way that they're not meant to go. And that's how they break. And of course the techniques emphasizes that and plays on that anatomical fact in order to be effective. That's why it's, you know, you don't need to be strong or particularly big or young or anything like that in order to have it work.
So if someone were on the streets were to be coming at you, you'd know how to, like, stop?
Well, I've been attacked twice.
Have you?
And once at a payphone and once in a restaurant, and it's just a matter of instinct. I mean, the person lunged at me, tried to grab me. Before I knew it, his arm was broken and he was laying on the ground. I mean, it just happened so fast, you know, but then again, I'm an instructor, so the techniques come to me naturally and instantly. I didn't even have a chance to think about it. I just saw the person lunge at me, and next thing I know, he's on the ground.
So you stopped him in midair, but what if someone were to actually place their hand on your shoulder?
It doesn't matter. I mean, the techniques cover a range anywhere from hair grabs, collar grabs, shoulder grabs, elbow grabs, wrist grabs, finger grabs, choke holds. I mean, you name it. The Hapkido martial arts system encompasses over 3,000 different techniques, and a technique or a combination of techniques will suit just about any type of situation.
Well, what if, let's say, if you're unprepared for someone attacking you? Like, I know someone who was jogging in the park and a guy came up behind her and just attacked her. How could she be, could combat Hapkido have helped her in any
Absolutely. I mean, again, if this is a person who has taken 2 classes only, the likelihood of them being able to, you know, really defend themselves is pretty slim. But a person who's been practicing, like I've been in the martial arts for over 20 years, if somebody grabs me, I can do the technique and execute it without even thinking about it. So obviously, if you've been practicing the techniques for 3 months, 6 months, a year, or longer, when a person grabs you, your body goes into automatic mode. You don't really think about what you're going to do. You just do it. That's why we practice the techniques over and over and over again until it becomes, you know, part of your memory. And it doesn't matter if they grab you in a chokehold from behind, a hair grab, or anything, even if they take you to the ground. I mean, we show ground grappling techniques, you know, from the sitting position. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ah, I was just going to ask you that.
Absolutely, yes. You know, 80 to 90% of all realistic fights and situations in the street will end up on the ground. That's a fact. If somebody punches you, you're going to go to the ground. Obviously, if somebody blindsides you and you don't see it coming, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But if somebody, for example, a woman, if an attacker takes you to the ground, now you're in a ground grappling situation. And we teach specific techniques to defend against that. Very effective and very practical techniques that a woman, you know, any size or physical ability can do.
Very interesting. Well, we got to go to a break, but we'll have more on combat Hapkido with Master Jurgen Schmidt in moments. Stay with us.